Ford Park on the edge of Dartmoor has an illustrious history. Well-known sculptors have made it their working environment, and none more so than Dominic Welch.
I've been doing it a while now, but I feel I'm always aware of the whole, right from the beginning, from the raw block all the way through. It's just retaining that feeling of the piece that you're going to make. It's almost like I've seen it already and I'm just going through the process of getting rid of the stone to reveal it. I've always managed to retain the joy of actually just making things for the sake of making things, and so it feels like every time I start a new sculpture, that is, you know, it's not like 30 years into my career, it's like this is the start. It's exciting, it's something new. It doesn't always feel like that in the middle of the winter when you're in a cold workshop and dust and things, but I think that's why it's been so interesting, exciting moving here and making the work at home. We use it to show my sculpture in the garden and have people visit and show the work through the house. So we feel very privileged.
Dominic lives and breathes his work. From a simple charcoal outline, he fashions the stone, be it Kilkenny limestone, Carrara marble, to name two. Every movement he makes is deft, despite dealing with such heavy materials.
I love making the tall, upright, sort of flame-like pieces, and this is another one in that series. But each one is different. You know, they slowly evolve, and I see things each time I make it, which sort of feeds into the next piece. And I'm always working on lots of pieces at the same time. So whilst I'm working on this big block, I'll be looking at other pieces that are around me and working out what I'm going to do with them.
David Messum is Dominic's dealer and helps guide him along his artistic path.
Dom!
Oh, David.
How are you?
Very good to see you.
Lovely to see you. And here we have another piece which might be for the exhibition?
Yep,
maybe?
yep. I'm just getting it ready, putting the final polish that really brings out the lovely sort of bluey black colour in these Kilkenny
these pieces have always been very successful, haven't they?
I have. I mean, I keep returning to spheres over the years. I think there's something sort of very powerful about that sort of...
Yes, it's sort of, you know, a lot of your forms are rising forms, and this is a collective piece which demonstrates beautifully your markings that you've got on here.
Yeah.
I think one of the better issues of being a dealer is that you can use your own eye, and if you find something that's good, whether it's popular or not, you have the chance to promote it, actually. And Dom and I have known each other for a long time, and with our sort of help and everything else and his own skills, he's now in a very dominant position as a sculptor.
Dominic lives at Ford Park with his partner Juliet Mills, a photographer and horse lover. The place has a rich history with beautiful grounds, full of associations. It was designed in the late 1890s by Robert Stark, who himself was a sculptor and had the studio built. One of Robert's daughters, Freya, became a well-known travel writer.
Well, as an explorer, I have an affinity with this place because Freya Stark was born here, grew up here, and she became a great friend later. And of course her father was a sculptor and did his sculpturing here. And now, with a wonderful change, Dominic is doing the same. And that's a terrific piece of synergy, which I enjoy. I think it's absolutely stunning. I've just been saying it's so tactile. I long to lean out and stroke every piece that I see in the garden.
Years later, sculptor John Skeaping, Barbara Hepworth's first husband, worked at Ford Park, making this hair out of bog oak from the driveway.
The gardener told my father about the piece of wood, and he came up and dug it out and carved it in 1946 into the shape of a hare, which the piece of wood lends itself to admirably.
John Skeaping later used the studio at Ford Park to carve Hyperion, a life-size model of the famous racehorse.
It was signed off by Lord Derby, who was the owner of Hyperion, and then the casters came in, cut the model into sections and took it away for casting. And it's now standing as a bronze outside the British Racehorse Society in Newmarket, where it is much admired.
The creative legacy of Ford Park is to be celebrated.
Father would have loved the environment here. If he was to turn up now in hindsight, he'd sit here, have a glass of champagne and admire the view and realise that Dominic is sitting in a superb environment for inspiration. And Dominic too frees beautiful things from lumps of stone, and what better environment to do that in than here at Ford Park.
I think that they do have a sort of inner soul, and I've always... as I've got a few things back at home, actually, you know, after a sunny day, you can feel the warmth of the stone, and it has a sort of living presence. I think increasingly people want an experience in the way that they buy. I mean, it's one thing to walk into a gallery, it's all there for you, but it's here you can view something in the environment next door to his studio, and as we've been doing today, to sort of see how it's constructed.
Over the years, all the people that have bought my work and have it in their houses and their gardens, it's what they feel about it rather than what I feel, because they've seen the piece and it's resonated or, you know, made them feel something, and it becomes theirs then.